As things began to go in the opposite direction, my niece Adrian and her sister, they came by, and I was feeling a little bit better, but not the best. But they looked at me and they said, "I don't like the way you look. I don't like the way you look." So my niece Adrian, she said, "I'm going to call the paramedics." She called the paramedics, and so as she called the paramedics, well, she had asked me some questions, medical questions, what day was it, so I would see how alert I was, mentally alert, and I wasn't as alert as I should be, and the paramedic came and asked me the same question. First of all, he asked, "What's your name?" Well, I know my name. But I just didn't know what day it was. I didn't know what day it was. So they decided they would wheel me over to Holy Cross Hospital. And so as I was in Holy Cross Hospital, uh, they hooked me up. They hooked me up and I was there. But the thing was that here I found out something. I found out that hospitality and compassion works together. And I found out as this marvelous experience. And so I was wondering, as I saw Miss Sister McDonald, she was in charge of hospitality. I thought all these people that was, I was just talking to Reverend McDonald, about 17 people joining joining together with not so much as so much, they came together. When I was released after the third day, and so I didn't, I was feeling a little weak, but I could still, cook a little soft, a quick thing, to survive. But I didn't have to quit. Everybody, these people, said, "You don't pick up Sister McDonald and Brother McDonald. We saw to it that we was able to, the committee, get together and bring the food." And I was really overwhelmed. Uh, so Reverend Brown brought us, start, I was, when I looked up the phone, the doorbell rang, and Reverend Brown was there, had breakfast. had, had breakfast. And so he was, I thought he coordinated, then he had brought the breakfast, and just before, just after that, Ms. Sister Harris and Reverend Harris brought fantastic spread. We had a fantastic spread, and we had plenty of food to eat. Then Deacon, Brother Tate, he picks me up. He picks us up. So we had plenty to eat. Then Deacon Collins and Miss Collins, they brought us a plenty to eat. Miss Outlaw, she and Jay, they brought us a plenty to eat. And this had Sadie Paul and Susie James. I said, all these people, I thought this was part of the hospitality committee. But we enjoyed everything. Compassion, hospitality. Paul says we should be given to hospitality. That should be a part of our trait. Following Christ, and so not only that, we go see how in Jesus wanted to get across a point. Everybody, the concern. What is the most important concern in our life, in our mind, in our life? Many of us who have some great concern, number one priority. Some people would love to have enough money the rest of their life that they would not be broke. And somebody would just love to have a bigger house. food, priorities. But Jesus, he is one that God sent him to meet all of the priorities of life. That's why he said, I came. The purpose I came, number one priority, he was so concerned, was his main concern. He said, now my main concern is the reason why I came, I don't want no man to perish. And he let focus attention on what he said. Nicodemus came to him by night. He wanted to know that, well, they had this discussion. And so little did he know, he wanted to get some information. But in the course of his conversation, Jesus said, let you know, you want to know some things, but the main thing you need to know is what? You need to be born again, John 3:5. Number one priority, you need to be born again. So after that, Father, everything would follow in line. Then he tells us right on down the line, that whole course of conversation that he had with Nicodemus, he let him, you're a master of Israel, but you don't know what you ought to know. You don't know what you ought to know. You need to know. You need to know. If you don't believe on the only begotten Son of God, you shall perish. You shall perish. We shall perish. Anybody that tried to reject Christ, where you end up. The prophet Isaiah said there were people, he prophesied that God sent his son, but now here that they despised and rejected him. What will be the aftermath of anybody that was despise and reject Jesus Christ? There's no reward, only condemnation that you despise and reject Jesus Christ. And so, here the important thing, priority, that this young man, he recognized that there was something he wanted more than anything in life. A certain lawyer stood up and tempted him, saying, Master, what shall I do to inherit eternal life? John 3:16. Is that what it said? Whosoever believeth in him shall not perish, but have everlasting life. But Jesus put it in another vernacular. He says, Jesus put it in his court. He said, now, it is written in the law. What is it that's written in the law? All good Jewish people. Now, he was a Jew. Now, he knew, all the Jews knew what the law said. Moses. They respected the law of Moses. And so he knew, now look how he could recite what the law said. And when Jesus asked him the question, how does the law read? And he knew it. Listen, he recited it back to Jesus. Answer and said, thou shalt love the Lord thy God with all thy heart and with all thy soul, with all thy strength and with all thy mind, and thy neighbor as thyself. And Jesus says, answered him, yeah, you have answered right. If you really sincerely incorporate this in your mind, priority, God first. God said, thou shalt have no other God before him. Put God first. If God is first on the agenda and nothing else, don't bow down. Thou shalt not bow down thyself to any other God. Thou shalt have no other God before me. So one thing now, the neighbor. Now a neighbor goes beyond. You have some people that live. We always consider a person that lives right next door to us as a neighbor. Sometimes we have a nice little relationship with our neighbor next door, a neighbor across the street. And we don't think in terms of it going any farther than that. But Jesus lets us know it goes beyond that. It goes beyond that. So he wanted to justify himself. He wanted to justify. And what did Paul say? Therefore, being justified by faith, we have peace with God. To justify, you cannot justify yourself before God unless you have faith in him. Being justified by faith. So Jesus puts a parable to him. Now it's letting us know it is a parable that's put together for the purpose of bringing about a truth. A truth. And it would let us know that a certain man that was going from Jericho to Jerusalem to Jericho. And so, as he went up, we just want to try to put together a picture. Why would a person go up to Jerusalem? Don't mention no detail, but let's put a picture together. Jerusalem was the most beautiful city, holy city. It was a city where Solomon had built the temple. Wonderful temple, beautiful. It was so, the temple of Jerusalem was so beautiful. It was one of the 7 wonders of the world. So we see this man going up to, we would say, see the beauty of the city and the things that, the celebration, the ceremonies, the thing that they had was going on in the city. The beauty of the city was indescribable. So he spent a day, and think about it, as you spend a day looking around and so enjoying the city, and then going back home, on his way back home, he, after seeing the city and enjoying the city, he took his journey on Jericho, and suddenly he was assaulted by thieves. He could not protect himself from their attack. They knocked him down to the ground. They began to beat him, and they knocked him unconscious. And they took his money, his shoes, and his clothes, and they left him laying on the ground, wounded and bleeding, and they were leaving him to die. No compassion. That's the way the world is today. We living in that kind of world. Men are not content to take your money. They want to see you bruised and bleeding. They want to see you something just what they call a sadistic nature. And so, as they left him laying there, a priest came, saw the bleeding man, and as he saw the man, he did not stop. He showed no compassion. He only had concern about being defiled. You know, the priests are so holy. They can't get down and defile themselves. They don't, they too holy. They can't touch any, no blood,